These days, it seems like every RPG or MMO wants to kiss your Hershey's Highway rather than actually give you a solid cast of real characters to interact with. For that reason, I've put together this easy-to-use ranking system so you can check how good your NPCs are. This will be quick and to the point. Let's begin. If you'd like to see future videos a week early, along with other unique content, go to the subscribe star link in the description box, select any tier to contribute, and sign up as a member of the Grimdark Army. My thanks to the current men and women in service, whose names are seen here. Grimdark. Half off! The great American speaker, Earl Nightingale, once said that part of growing up is realizing that most people are neither for you nor against you, but are usually thinking of themselves. No matter what you do, some people will never love you. This thought is at first stressful, but soon comforting, and helps us learn not to engage in pity or jealousy if we're smart enough, because others are going through the same process of maturity we are. His exact phrase is, "Jealousy is ignorance, and imitation is suicide." If these words sound familiar, then it's because they are present in the design of your favorite NPCs. They have their own lives and journeys. This quality we'll call being self-focused. This doesn't mean being selfish, but rather they have a view of themselves, an ego, where their behavior seems to emanate from like a normal person does. Even a well-written Superman is just as much a self-focused NPC as a well-written serial killer. One's worldview is comprised of helping others, and another is comprised of harming others. But both live in their own world. They will interact with other people, but they aren't dependent on them for identity. In an open-world RPG, who would you rather run into, a person or a cardboard cutout waiting for you to press a button? Our next quality is called laconicism, also called iconic speech. It means to be able to say much with little. A classic example of this comes to us from the culture that birthed this style of speech in Western history, the Spartans. When Xerxes gave the Spartans, who his army outnumbered, a chance to put down their weapons in return for benefits he very likely would have made good on, they simply responded with, "Come and take them." These few words communicated their disrespect for their enemies, a willingness to fight, and that they would carry out the war to its end. However, not every laconic character needs to be a mix of Clint Eastwood and Batman. Laconicism can be as simple as encountering an NPC who is already at a farm, has a straw hat on, and is wearing overalls. Already you get the idea that they are a farmer from their wardrobe. In addition to this, the few words they have for the player as a large animal of some type is attacking a woman and two children are, "I'm sorry, oh God, oh no, I'm sorry." Now, you can probably tell that the farmer's family are the ones in danger, and he had something to do with it, or at least feels guilty about it. If it turns out that the farmer had raised that animal from birth, having a soft spot for it like a pet, despite it endangering others, you wouldn't be surprised. We have also now communicated that the farmer is a family man who loves animals. He's a bit over-emotional, often letting his sense of empathy get the better of him rather than thinking practically. If it turned out his farm was poor because he didn't use factory practices and wanted to treat his animals humanely until death, this too would not be surprising. All of that was communicated from one line of dialogue plus visuals that could be taken in a matter of under 3 seconds. Think of laconicism as the perfect writing tool for someone who already understands show don't tell in writing, or for someone who already understands the rule of the, say, 7-second rule. The idea that if you don't do anything for 7 seconds, which I was originally going to do a bit on where I wait for 7 seconds, but I'm not going to do that here, you will lose your audience's attention. Our final quality is a bit hard to define and won't be present in every NPC because they won't have enough time in game to do it, but it's simply being three-dimensional. These 3 dimensions we'll call a personality, meaning they are already the first 2 qualities we discussed previously, laconic plus self-focused, a fear, and a hope. The easiest way to have those last 2 is by them having a goal. Let's go back to our farmer. Let's give him this goal. His farm is dying. If it does, his family will become homeless and his animals will be in much more horrible conditions. This is extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Through his empathy, he fears his family and animals suffering while hoping for their safety. His goal is to save his farm. This can be used to give the player a series of side quests or lead-in to a main quest, while staying very believable given the character of the farmer already established, as well as developing his character in a direction that makes sense. A great way to stay committed to this quality is similar to the way any exploration writer makes up a story. Just like how they will only name their tale after it is finished, so too should you care more about making an NPC three-dimensional before even telling someone their name. The farmer could remain a mystery until halfway through the game, or simply never be given a name. What's more valuable than a character's name is the desire people have to know it. One is superficial, as you can always change a name, but the practical active effect someone has on your life is real. That's what creates the longing to know who they are. That is what creates a good NPC. If you want to represent your own laconic, self-focused, and three-dimensional NPCs on a tabletop, you'll probably want to know about today's sponsor, Ronin Kraft. Ronin Kraft is an independent 3D model printing service with an excellent customer review score on Etsy. The owner specializes in both fantasy and sci-fi, making Ronin Kraft your one-stop shop for all your miniature needs. With Ronin Kraft, you'll find quality that surpasses any master. If you look at our chart, A, B, and C tiers for NPCs will be defined by how many of these three qualities they have. An unrealistically perfect game would have an all A tier NPC cast that are three-dimensional, laconic, and self-focused. A good game with high replay value will have a main cast of A tier NPCs and a major cast of B tier NPCs for side quests, or a supporting cast who are both laconic and self-focused. An okay game will have NPCs that are just laconic or just self-focused. D tier will be defined as having none of these three qualities, which also makes them seem very forgettable to players, so very forgettable NPCs. Finally, F tier are those who possess none of these qualities and are actively the opposite of them. These bad qualities in the F tier are shallowness, meaning robotic or emotionless in speech or behavior, player-focused existence, meaning their very presence feels like something to avoid or get past if you want to enjoy your time in game. A great example of an F tier NPC that, or at least a character that would be an F tier NPC if he wasn't purposely being played as a joke, would be the adoring fan from Oblivion. Our final bad quality would be either unclear motivation or overcomplicated, meaning that the author had no idea what they want to do with the character, so when you see them, they feel like a different person each time. Another way to think of the overcomplicated NPC would be the video game equal of a Mary Sue or Gary Stu. Someone who has to be good at everything, either because they are the darling of their author who created them, or because, as stated previously, no direction could be decided on for their character. A better term might be contradictory. For example, a character that is 1 minute a socially inept genius is suddenly an incredible socialite with no understanding of their own inventions, because the plot demands it. Your perspective, of course, is what really matters. For examples of good NPC writing, I would recommend the games Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2004, The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind 2002, and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2003. That's one, not two. For examples of okay NPC writing, I would recommend playing the free-to-play MMOs Age of Conan Hyborian Adventures 2008, now called Age of Conan Unchained, and Star Wars The Old Republic 2011. For examples of bad NPC writing, I would recommend The Elder Scrolls Online 2014. Instead of giving you any examples of these, I want you to play them for yourself. All the good games I recommend are incredibly cheap, coming in anywhere between 99 cents to $10 on Steam. The okay ones are free-to-play, and ESO you can easily pass on or just watch the YouTube channel Gameolio Dan, who has long-standing playthroughs of it. You'll understand why most people quit the dialogue options and just want to run around in the open world if they really play at all. If you're one of my paid subscribers, then this script sounds familiar to you, because I wasn't going to turn this into a video originally, and made it specifically for you as an article. Originally, I thought of it as an early draft, but I think fleshing out the script any more beyond what I have written here would negatively affect the raw judgment call of a potential writer, which can only come from their own experiences. If you have played these games, while I understand it's a lot to ask, please comment below your most memorable experiences with them or your most beloved NPCs in any games you've played. What stuck out to you, and what made them have such an impact? If you disagree with my selection, please tell me. This video is meant to be a discussion starter. We can only learn more from talking to each other. Thank you all for listening, and have a wonderful day.